Hello, everybody. So I got a couple of spreadsheets here that I'm going to try and just build quickly for you and then deploy the video on our Canvas site so you can have a bit more practice. I've got two companies here. Here's the first company in this section, and then I've got another company I kind of started here. So this particular one, this deals mostly in employee wages. Here you'll see Mike, Helen, Frank, and Wambui. Here is the hourly wage. These are what we call assumptions up here. We're assuming that the hourly wage is $18 an hour, and they pay a tax rate of around 25% on their income. So the total hours, here's the hours they worked in week one. Mike worked 24, Helen worked 40 hours, Frank worked 36, and Wambui worked 40. So if we wanted to find out how many hours these employees worked in the whole month, over the 4 weeks, we go to total hours. Remember, from the work you've done so far, you can go to the functions, select sum. It puts in this, it's asking you to sum stuff or total stuff up or add stuff up, but it doesn't know what to add. That's why the parentheses are blank. So you just tell it, you go over and say, add up all those guys for me right there. And you see the way it puts the formula in there for you. Add up everything from B5 to E5 right here. And then you just hit enter and it tells you the answer, okay? So Mike worked 96 hours that week. Here's a cool thing here. This is called the drag and fill. Rather than, see, I've done the formula once right here. Rather than having to do all that again, I can just go to the little box, and when my arrow turns to crosshairs, I can just drag and drop. I just drag and fill. So you can see that here it says take everything in B6 to E6. So that would be here through to here. And I go to the next one, and the formula says B7 to E7. So it just drags and drops and does all the math for you. So you really only have to do the first one, then boom, drag and drop. The monthly wage. Well, we can see here that they work 96 hours in a month, and our assumptions are that it's $18 an hour. So I'm actually just going to censor this just to tidy that up a little bit. Just going to censor it right there. So the monthly wage is going to be total hours worked multiplied by the hourly wage. So we're just going to put equals whatever is in that cell, and then shift star for multiplication, multiply whatever is in that cell. Boom. And it tells you that Mike earned $1,728 for working 96 hours at $18 an hour. And rather than do all the rest of them, I'm just going to drag and fill that same formula. Oh, look, we got a problem. We got a problem. Because when you click on this, you can see the formula is F5 multiplied by B2. That's F5 multiplied by B2. But if I drag and drop things the way I did in this column, you can see now the formula says, okay, well, to drag down, take whatever's in F6, take this, which is correct, and multiply it by whatever is in B3. But B3 says 25%. We don't want B3 to move. We want F6 and F7 and F8 to move. We want the first half of the formula to move, but we don't want the second half of the formula to move. So what you do is, in order to fix that, is you go to your formula and you do what is called an absolute cell reference. So you put in a $ in front of the column heading B, the letter, and you put a $ in front of the row heading, which is the number 2. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm still going to get 1,700 and something. I hit enter. It's 1,728. But now it says let this one drag down, but this cell reference is now absolute. So it means it will always go back to cell reference B2 to get the wages. It will not drag down. Let me show you. Let me demonstrate. I'm just going to bring my mouse. My arrow changes to crosshairs. I drag and drop and release, and boom, there's all your answers, you see? Because the second part of the equation, the second part of the formula, is an absolute cell reference to B2. So no matter, even when I drag and drop, the second part always says B2. This went from F5 to F6. The next one will go from F6 to F7. But you can see this part always goes and finds the $18. This will say F8 multiplied by B2 absolute cell reference. There's your F8, it's allowed to move, multiplied by, and there's your B2 absolute cell reference. You create absolute cell references by putting a $ in front of the column heading, which is usually a letter, and you put the $ in front of the row heading, which is always a number, and that's how you create an absolute cell reference. So you always get the right answer. This did not require the cell reference. If you ever get those wrong answers, it's because you want to send it back to the exact same cell every time looking for that number. Okay, taxes is going to be the same situation as this because the taxes reference is here. So we always want to go there even though our hourly rates will change. So we're going to go equals. Taxes is going to be this, our salary, multiplied by 25% of our salary is going to be spent in taxes. So we want that second part to be an absolute cell reference because they're always going to go to the 25%. So I'm just going to put my $ in there. I'm going to hit enter. And this person has to pay $432 taxes on $1,728 wages. I can now drag and drop. It does all the math for me. And so then if I wanted to find out the net salary is simply your income minus taxes, and that tells you, your disposable income, what actually would go into your bank account. So that would be equals simply this guy, and this time it's a minus whatever my taxes are, and boom, I am left with $1,296 to spend. I'm just going to center that information, and then I can just drag and drop that one. I've already got my cell references in there. No, I didn't need absolute cell reference for this one because it's simply this minus this. So this one is going to be this minus this, and this one will be this minus this, and this one is this minus this. They just drag and drop. You'll see the formulas. As you guys see in your own spreadsheets, you'll see how the formula changes every time. But for these two, you needed to use an absolute cell reference because the second part of the equation always has to go find the salary. And for taxes, the second part of the equation always has to go find the tax rate. And like, for example, let's say our tax rate, this is the beauty of building it this way. Like if my tax rate goes up to 50%, well, then this person's taxes will go up to $864, which means this will come down to around $800 and something. So let's just put taxes up to 50%. I hit enter. You can see this now went up to 800, and this came down to around 800. So half of my salary, here's my salary, half of it goes to taxes, so I only get to spend half of it. The point of the matter is I can change this. I could put it to 10%, hit enter, and you see everything automatically updates. That's the beauty of spreadsheets. So you can run all kinds. Well, what if taxes were higher? What if taxes were lower? You can. What if I got a pay rise? Maybe we got $20 an hour. I hit enter. And look, everything automatically updates because you've got these cool formulas lying underneath the cell. So you can, that took me no time at all. And I now have this functioning, calculating spreadsheet that even if Mike did some overtime and worked 30 hours that week, all his information here, when I hit enter, see why all his information automatically updated, everything. You can change anything and it instantaneously will change for you. Okay, so that's the first one. And the second one, this is about, let's see, what was I thinking for this one? I was doing an internet retailer, it seems. So I'm doing like an online e-commerce company. We can't quite see what this is, so you can adjust your sales by just dragging it over and making it a bit bigger. So now we can see cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is, like if you sell a hat for $20, you probably buy it for $10 from your supplier, or it costs you $10 to make it, and then you sell it for retail at $20. That's what cost of goods sold is. So like for every hat you sell at $20, it probably cost you $10 to make it or to buy it from your supplier. Just remember that for a moment. I'll come back to it. So I typed in the word January here. I'm just going to center it. Here's a kind of cool thing with the drag and drop feature. I'm just going to do the first 6 months of the year, January through June. Watch what happens here. January, February, March, April, May, June. Boom. I don't even have to type those in because the spreadsheet knows, it kind of anticipates for us. I want a bit more space here. I'm just going to insert a row above, just so it's a little bit tidier for me, you know. Income or sales. So let's see. So our sales, let's just make up some numbers here. Our sales for that month were $5,600. And this month it was $5,000 even. And this month was a really good month in March, and we sold like 8,400. And this month was not so good, 4,500. This month, 3,300. And then June we did. June was a hot summer month, and everybody wanted our product, so we saw like $8,600. Okay. I'm just again going to highlight those and censor them. So the cost of goods sold is going to be 45% of that. If we sold $5,600, well, it cost us either 45% of that to either manufacture it or buy it from suppliers. So our cost of goods sold is going to be this guy equals this multiplied by this, should come in at around, let's see, 2005, 2007, 2000, right around 2,700, 2,600. Came out at 2,520. Okay. So our cost of goods sold was 2,520. Just going to center that. What I do want to do here is use my absolute cell reference, because as I drag, and I don't want to have to do all these numbers, I just want to take a shortcut. But in order for my shortcut to work, as you remember, I've always got to tell it, go find the 45%. So the second part of this equation has to be, because the 45% is in cell reference B12, so I have to tell it to go get B12 every time. So I still got the same answer, 2,520, but now it knows to go get that percentage, that 45% from B12, so I can just drag those across, get all my answers. So now to find the gross profit, well, if you sold the products for $5,600 and it cost you $2,520 to make them, well, if you subtract one from the other, you get your gross profit. So that would be equals my sales figures minus my cost of the goods equals, boom. I'm just going to censor that. And this time, we do not need an absolute cell reference because we're just subtracting this from this. So this time you want to subtract this from this, and this from this, and this from this. So we can just drag or drop, get all our answers right like that, you know. Then we have expenses. This is a slightly different little item, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a background color there. Expenses, and maybe give income and sales a little background color as well, just so they kind of pop out a little bit. Here's some of our assumptions. I'll give our assumptions a little background because they're kind of administrative. Picked the wrong color there. Something a little lighter. They're kind of administrative elements. So expenses, advertising. Well, we have to spend $300 a month on advertising and $400 a month on rent. Salaries, well, they were like $1,200 a month on salaries for our staff. We got to ship all that stuff out to customers as they order stuff, so maybe we spend $300 a month on that. Office supplies, not too bad. Maybe we spend $125 a month on office supplies, on printing paper and maybe some ink and pens and stuff. And then web design services, the company that we bring in, they probably charge us $250 a month. So if I want to add up the total of my expenses, I can go up here, boom, tell it to add things up for me. It doesn't know what we want it to add up yet. Well, just add all of those guys for me, boom. And let's center our numbers. So we can see that our expenses, total expenses, 2007. So our net profit, we know all our expenses, and we here's our gross profit. Why don't I just give that a little highlight for you guys, just so you can find it nice and easily. There's our gross profit. There's our total expenses. And if we subtract one from the other, equals this, equals this guy minus this guy. Boom. We made $505 profit after everybody got paid and all that kind of stuff. And we can actually take all of these if we wanted. And we should be able to drag and drop everything because you only do it once. I like to do it once and then use that little drag and drop feature. I don't like, no, that's fine. No, I don't like the way that looks. I don't like the way that looks because they're all the same and they can't. So I don't like that. I'm going to undo that feature that I just did. Boom. I'm going to undo that because B20 to B25. Oh, yeah. No, that's okay. That's correct. I was right the first time because all those expenses are going to remain the same. I could change some bits and pieces, but the expenses are the same. It's this bit that changes because we're going to be subtracting these guys. When I'm going to get different net profits because the sales figures, while the expenses remain the same every month for salaries and web design services, the sales change. So that's where we're going to get. We lost money this month and we lost money that month, but we made a lot of money that month and made a lot of money that month. And you could even find out your actual over those 6 months. We could just find out our actual profits by doing all that math for us. Boom. We made a profit of $4,200. So that again is just a real. Now again, the beauty of this, I can change anything. Maybe if we're like, you know what? Let's see, where can we save some money? Maybe advertising. Let's just do $200 a month on advertising. So I would save $100 a month. 6 times is 600. So my final net profit should go up to $4,700, roughly, right here. Actually went up to 4,600. So my math's not as good as I thought it was, but we saved $100. And everything updates. You see, even our profit margins, we saved $100 here, so we no longer are losing $100 here. Everything automatically updates. It's phenomenal, and it takes me maybe 15 minutes in this video to build this, and then I can use it over and over. And they can get quite complex, but that's the beauty of spreadsheets. They really can help you a lot in analyzing business information, looking at your sales figures, looking at your expenses. You can do it for investments. I mean, it can analyze anything as long as you understand those simple little formulas that we've been using, And today I showed you what an absolute cell reference is. I think I read reference to it up here. I didn't make reference to it down here because I had corporation tax. So maybe we could do it just quickly here. Your tax is at 20%, I think. Oh, I had corporation tax at 6%. That should be 20% in the United States. I was thinking of sales tax. So here to establish your corporation tax, so this would actually be gross profit, and then your tax, and then you get your net profit. This is another example of absolute cell references. So we already calculated our gross profit. So now we got to find out what our tax is. Well, you only pay tax on your profits if you're a business. Like when you're going out to work as an employee, you pay tax on your income, your salary. If you're a business, you pay tax on your profits. So we know that this company made $605. We know that the corporation tax rate in the United States is 20%. So 20% of 605 equals this multiplied by this. And we need to take our shortcut. We need to make it an absolute cell reference with our dollar signs on the second part of it. Not there. And on the first part of it, right there. So 20% of 605 by my calculations is 121. 10% would be $60. Yeah, that's right, $121. Therefore, 20% would be 121. If 10% is 60. We've put our absolute cell reference in, so now we're able to just go and drag like that. And then our net profit is going to be this equals this minus this. Boom. And we do not need the absolute cell reference for this. We can just drag and drop. And there we get, I can total up our actual net profit then is going to be some. After we paid all our taxes, after we paid everybody, we make $696. And that's how we kind of have a look at that one. Looks like May was a tough month for this company. They actually lost money in May, so they're going to have to maybe run a promotion or do some advertising or do something to get the May sales figures up, and that would help their business a lot, you know. Actually, April, they could probably do with doing some activity in April too. Okay, so that's how we did these, and I'm just going to stop here. I'd like you guys to basically go through and do what I did using those formulas, and then submit your spreadsheet to me. All right, thank you.